Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Today's guest is one of my favorites. We've been waiting to do this episode for quite some time, and this guy blesses a lot of people with a beautiful smile. He has a special touch to him, and if you're out there and you're worried about your smile, and if you smile with your mouth closed and you want him to change your smile from this to this, hopefully after this episode, it'll make that happen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the one and only Dr. Brady.
Thanks for having me. It's fun to be here. It's a
Of
cool
course.
experience.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on to our show. We try to film at least 3 times a week. We've been super busy lately. And
awesome.
when we reached out to you, we already knew what you do, and we pretty much know everything about you, but we thought all of our followers should get a chance to kind of get to know you as well.
That's cool.
Most of them already do.
Yeah.
I have a lot of family that's come to Haven Dental,
That's
and
cool.
my wife was just there today actually
Yeah.
getting a cleaning.
Yeah.
I was there last week, so we're in and out.
Yeah,
Um,
that's awesome.
when you first graduated high school, did you know right away what you wanted to do right after?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I knew I wanted to do something with healthcare and like helping people. I wasn't sure like if I wanted to be a doctor or a dentist, but I knew it was like headed that direction for sure. But if you would have known me in high school and I told you I was going to be a dentist, you would have been like, really? Like, you?
Wow, okay.
Like, yeah, I want to do that.
So when you went to college after high school, did you go right away I'm sure you just did your basics right at first.
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to own my own business. I knew I have a hard time working for other people. So I figured a business degree would be the direction I should go. And that was kind of a fallback plan too. Like if things didn't work out, okay, at least I understand economics and accounting and marketing and that kind of thing. And I can use that in whatever I go into. School wasn't ever easy for me. It was always a struggle. I felt like I could learn easily, but like the tests, like I just could not take a test very well. So I went and got a business degree the same time I had to do all the prerequisites for dental school, biology and chemistry and all that crazy stuff. So yeah.
Wow.
pretty
Yeah, I
nuts.
mean, when it comes to school, even like myself, I was never really, when it came to tests, it's like I could have the best grades, but something about a test would always give me anxiety and make me nervous that I was just being judged based off of that one test.
Like I got 20 questions that tell you everything that I learned this semester.
And then if I don't know a few of those questions or they start to look confusing,
Yeah.
I'll start to panic. I don't know if I'm gonna ace this test, if not. And so I do think like down the road they should change some of the tests and how schools operate.
Yeah, I mean, they always say you can't grade a monkey on how well it can swim.
Yeah.
Or you can't grade a fish on how well it can climb a tree. So yeah,
There you go.
I think like finding out what you're good at and working towards that is super important. Especially like I feel like, I mean, with social media, with all these opportunities we have, there's so many ways to use your skills to make a living and to do what you will love doing versus just kind of settling and doing what everyone else does, you know?
For sure.
And then I feel like that's kind of where the artistic side of things kicks in, where you're not in survival mode, you're in like creative mode, and you can really kind of be yourself and do what you want to do without, like you said, having to like claw your way through it to pay the electricity at the end of the week, you know?
Where did you first start working right after college?
So I applied to dental school while I was finishing college. So I went home for a few months and shoveled horse manure. I was doing stuff for my dad around their house and stuff, fertilizing and just doing yard work essentially for a few months until I started dental school. So
Okay.
yeah,
And how
I
long
think
was
everybody
dental
should
school?
have to do that at some point in their
Yeah,
life.
of course. I think it betters you down the
You got to know what hard work is.
Oh man, for sure. It makes everything else feel a lot easier too. You know, like once you've
definitely.
been through
Helps you
through the hard
appreciate
times.
it. Yeah.
Wow. At what point did you officially become an owner or like a business owner?
Yeah, so I graduated dental school. Like I said, I knew I wanted to own my own business. So The bank wants a year of experience before they would give you any money to take out a loan to start your own. You can probably buy in, but I wasn't really into that either. I wanted to do my own thing. So I worked for a year at a place. It was a Medicaid focused office, actually. So I saw a lot of patients, did a lot of work, got really good at being a dentist, because in dental school, you really only do a couple dozen procedures of each type. So you don't get a ton of experience. But I knew, yeah. So I went and got the loan, opened up my place a year out of school, just started cranking,
So
started working.
the only year that you pretty much had to work for somebody else was because you had to have that 1 year
Yeah,
to get the loan, but
pretty
everything else
much.
was pretty much you had this plan that you're
Yeah.
gonna go in for a year to build the credit that was needed to get the loan to open
Exactly.
up your own place.
Yep.
Did you have any type of anxiety about starting your own
I
business?
still do.
Yeah.
It's still going. I mean, there's always that growth mindset can be a curse sometimes, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this next, I'm gonna do that next, I'm gonna do that next.
Yeah.
So I remember I was sitting in the movie theater. This was right when I had opened up, and I got a notification on my phone from American Express, and my dental supply company, who I thought I had paid already, just sent me a bill for $40,000, and I was like, I still don't know what happened in that movie. I actually refuse to go back and watch that movie because of the traumatic experience it was to like get that notification and go, where am I going to come up with 40 grand? And American Express, like, you can't finance it out. It's like, it's due at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of like, oh man, all right. But something that I've learned too is like, from those type of experiences, you find a way to make it work. Like, you get in there and it works out. If you're willing to do what you have to do to make it happen, it'll work out. So
I definitely agree. I've had a similar situation like that where I thought I had a payment on auto draft and it was like for $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
And then literally like 3 years later, they came back and they said that apparently after the first payment, they said that something switched in their system. They did an update. It stopped pulling payments and they didn't catch on to it. So 3 years have gone by. And I just assumed that the payments were always coming out.
Yeah, so you're like, oh.
So, yeah, and then they literally, it was like a similar situation where they said I owed like $36,000.
Yeah, you're like,
and now they're like wanting to shut off because it was for like one of my businesses and it was supplying like this big chain of things. And now they're in panic mode that I might not pay it.
Yeah.
So they're putting a stop to everything for me to make immediate payment. And I'm trying to argue back and forth with them to let them know it's not really my fault.
Let's work on that.
And they're kind of pointing fingers at me saying, well, you should have caught this, that it's not coming. And I'm like, come on, guys. You can't just blame me for this.
20 bills that go out every day paying for this business. Like, I can't.
But long story short, like I had to come up with the money and pay it because they really put a freeze on everything. And I came up with the money and paid it.
How it goes.
What is
sell a kidney?
What is your literally business is business sometimes.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on social media today? It's like, especially in like today's day, I feel like if you had to go back before the social media, I don't even know what people would do. Like, how would you even advertise, let's say, Haven Dental without social media? Newspaper, I'm assuming? Or what do you even do?
Newspaper or those postcard mailer things you get in the mail.
Seems so rough, right?
I mean, on the flip side too, though, it's like there would be less competition because people don't know what's going on in the next town over even. So they're like, okay, this is my dentist. Like, but man, social media has totally changed and is changing the whole way the world works. It's like revolutionizing everything to where you have, I mean, when the internet came along, you had instant access to like all this information. Whereas now social media, it's like being delivered to you. You don't even have to go looking for it. It's there. And you just scroll through and go, no. Oh, this is cool. And you learn about like teeth or a car or a vacation spot. Like, I see vacation stuff pop up all the time. And there's people like flocking to these places because so and so posted on it 3 years ago, and it's just kind of snowballed, and it's totally changing the way the world works. It's
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, I've seen some work that you've done that looks like it can't be done, and you've done
Yeah,
it.
some
I
of
mean,
them
how
are
do you?
crazy.
Because for them to get veneers, there pretty much has to be a little bit of tooth there, right,
Yeah,
for it to stick onto.
yeah,
And I mean, some people would come in, and this is just from the pictures I've seen on your website, and
yeah.
their teeth, from what it looked like, the before and after is just a night and day
Totally
difference.
different.
Have
Yeah.
you had a lot of those where it's like a miracle job where you?
I do a lot of that. Yeah. I mean, very, very rarely do I get somebody in who's like had braces, takes care of their teeth, and they're kind of just wanting like an extra boost. It does happen, but a lot of people, even like people you wouldn't think have dental problems or have issues with it, there's some stuff going on that they don't want people to see, so they don't let them see it. But I don't know. I feel like for all of the science courses I had to take to become a dentist, I feel like there should be a lot more art courses and a lot more of like being able to visualize things three-dimensionally and solve problems versus like knowing how many ions or how many electrons are in a sodium molecule. It's like let's learn what's practical here and learn how to solve problems. And there's a lot of art and a lot of visualization that goes into being a dentist.
Do you have to be 100% sure that it's gonna work out, that there's enough the original tooth there for the veneer to hold on to, or
I think
does that worry you sometimes that it might not be enough? Or?
Yeah, when I first started doing it, it was kind of like, okay, well, we'll see if this will work. Like it may or may not. And some of those cases I have redone where it's like, yeah, I'm not happy with it, or the patient's not happy with it, and we take care of them and redo things. But the more you do, it gets to be, it's like tying your shoe. Remember when you learned how to tie your shoes and you're like, okay, how did my mom show me how to do this again? I can't remember. Like, okay, I wrap it around. Like there's a lot of brain power that goes into doing that versus after you tie your shoe hundreds of times. It's like, the nice thing about being a dentist is I'm not a heart surgeon or a brain surgeon, and I'm not cutting off any limbs. So pretty much everything's fixable. Everything is doable. So that's the nice part.
Do a lot of people go with just like the brightest white, or what's like the most popular option that people would go with?
It's probably either the brightest or the second brightest. Some people come in and they want a more of a natural look to them, so we go with the second brightest one.
Yeah.
People that I've done the third brightest on, when they decide, they usually want them redone later because they want them brighter.
How long do veneers usually last when people put them on? I believe they said if you take care of them, is it up to 15 years or so?
Yeah. So, I mean, the industry standard right now, they say, is about 10 to 20 years.
Okay.
So somewhere in there. We've been talking, I'm a car guy, so I always tell people like, well, it's like buying a car. How long is my car going to last? It's like, well, if you never change the oil, if you drive it like crazy on the freeway and like run into stuff, it's not going to last you very long. But if you're washing it and getting oil changes and doing the maintenance and the upkeep, it can last decades. Yeah.
Do you get a lot of customers through the social media?
Like everything's through social media these days. We do monthly giveaways now. I think when you were coming in, I couldn't afford to do monthly giveaways. We were doing like once a quarter or once in a while.
You guys have one right now, right? For the month of October?
Yeah, so October's going on right now. It ends, I think, this Friday. So we're wrapping up. Usually what we'll do is we'll announce it at the beginning of the month on the 1st, and then we give it a week or two for people to enter and do all the things.
How many giveaways a year do you do?
12.
Oh, so one giveaway
we do
every
one
month.
Every month now.
Wow. And are they all for the veneers?
Yeah. Yeah, we usually do it for 8 veneers. Every once in a while, I think last month I did it for a full mouth. So that was a cool one.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a lot when you think about it, that you guys are giving away too, because each veneer is about $1,000, right?
Yeah.
Almost $100,000 a year worth of teeth that you guys are giving away.
And that's just from the giveaways. We do a lot more things where we help people out that need help and stuff like that. So we probably give away $500,000 worth of dental work every year.
Wow.
But I
That's
mean,
that's what makes it so
that's kind
special.
of
That's why
who
you
we
guys are
are
so
too.
different, and even
Yeah.
like the whole staff is just amazing there. You guys always
We
wear
have a
like the
good
coolest
time.
shoes,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. But that makes you guys stand out. You know, like
Yeah. I
the
mean,
whole
it's
energy, the
fun and
vibe, everybody in there is just so cool and
that's
friendly.
good.
And is that something that you envisioned, or like how
Yeah.
did that all come about?
I
Because I could see
mean,
it's like a set game plan that everybody's gonna wear a certain type of tennis shoes. You guys usually
yeah,
have like the
we kind of
Yeezys
have.
on,
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah. We have fun with it. I mean, I think it goes back to me not liking the dentist and trying to
yeah.
find ways of where can where can we feel less like doctors and more like comfortable.
Hmm.
And people come in and are like, oh, I love your shoes, or oh, I've been looking for those, or I love the neck pillow, or I love how the coffee bar you guys have up front, or how your staff talk to me. Like, we really try to make it feel comfortable and welcoming, and not a stressful experience, even though, I mean, it still is for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Would you say when
All
it
the
comes
things.
to your staff, is it more you recruiting a good staff or you building a staff? Well, I guess what I
Um,
mean by that is, you know, you would bring somebody in and then you would teach them your ways, or do you try to recruit somebody that
it's
already fits what you have
It's
going on?
kind of both. I mean, I feel like the culture that we have in our company is really strong, and we put a lot of effort into it. So the people who fit that culture stay, and the ones who don't will leave on their own.
Hmm.
Um, and that's fine. Like, some people, like, I've had employees that have left where I was like, dang, that stinks.
Wow, really?
Yeah. It doesn't happen very often, but it's like, I get along with everybody, but
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I really liked her personality. I really liked what he brought to the table, or things like that. And life just kind of, they decide they want to move on. So it's a lot of people have left at like a mutual understanding of like, oh man, but I get where you're coming from. Like, you got to do this with your life, or you're going here, or yeah, it's just not working, and it sucks, and I wish it would. And we've both kind of tried to work and make that happen, but they just kind of like,
Those are the toughest conversations because
they
it's like
are.
from a business point, you're so much is going through your head at that moment, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Wow, this is a good employee. I don't want
Yeah.
to lose this employee." But at the same time, you're receiving all this information, what's going through their head,
Yeah.
and you're trying to counter or get them to stay. And
Yeah.
but you,
Or
it's all
the
happening so
opposite, where
fast.
they're like, I really want to stay, but it's not working. And you're like, I'm so glad that you're the one saying this and I don't have to fire you. Like, it's
Right.
hard. It's hard to be a boss, and there's no way to duplicate that experience without doing it yourself.
What's the next step? I mean, right now, are you guys? I saw y'all are doing Botox too.
Yeah, we
right?
do Botox. That's mostly for clenching and grinding, and some into like the migraine territory of things. We actually are signing the loan for second office this week. So
It's
it's
exciting.
funny you asked that.
Wow.
Yeah, we're growing. And then,
Where's
yeah,
the second location?
it's going to be up in Argyle, about 25 minutes north of here.
Oh, good
So it's kind of
deal.
a growing area, and there's only a couple other dentists around, and no one's doing anything cosmetic up there. So I was like, oh, let's go up that
That's
way.
perfect. Argyle's a
See
beautiful
how it goes.
area.
Yeah, that's where I live. So it's
Oh, okay.
it's a nice spot. It's a
So
little quieter.
when does the second location expect to open?
We're hoping March, but it'll probably be April of next year.
Mhm.
So about 6 months from now.
Is that a whole nother level of stress for you? I mean, I know
I'm
it's like-
actually excited because
Yeah,
now I know how to do it.
Right.
I know where to spend the money. I know when that $40,000 credit card bill is going to show
Right.
up. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Let's do this.
What about the staff? Is it something that you're comfortable now with, where you think it'll be
Yeah,
a little
I
bit
mean-
easier getting the
Oh,
right
for
group
sure.
of people together?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, with COVID happening, I was actually planning on getting this office open a year and a half ago. So I've been ready to go. I know I've kind of overstaffed myself for when it happens, and when we're ready, we can just make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've got people lined up. We'll have to hire a couple more people, but everyone's kind of already integrated and trained, and they know kind of how I work and how we do stuff and kind of what we're looking for as a result. And so I think it'll be a pretty good transition. They'll be ready to.
There's an amazing doctor there. I can't remember her name, but she's usually there when you're not there.
Yeah.
She helped me out the last few times. I
Probably
can't remember
Dr.
her-
Nix.
I think so.
Yeah, she's great.
Awesome.
She actually moved. So we've hired 2 more doctors this year, and they're both awesome.
Yeah.
We've switched it around. I'm trying to spread out the workload a little bit with them. So when we do our giveaways, we're rotating between the 3 of us. So I do one once a quarter, and they each do one once a quarter. So we have kind of more time to see other patients and do that. So they're awesome. Dr. Tomei, she graduated about the same time I did. She's an awesome clinician. She really knows her stuff. She's super knowledgeable, and she's really detail oriented, which is nice. And then the other doctor I hired, Dr. Dice, he actually just graduated this year, but he's incredible. He knows, you would never know that he's a fresh grad. He's
That's
really good at
awesome.
his job.
What what inspires some of the comedy out of you? Because it's like I know on
Dude,
Snapchat and the filters,
oh my
and I
gosh.
just laugh all the time.
Sometimes
seeing
I
it.
have to like, all right, I'm a dentist. I can't goof off this much. I should post some pictures of teeth instead of just me being goofy.
No, it's funny.
I don't know. I think it goes back to that. I'm not in survival mode anymore. I can be myself, and patients love it. They want to know who I am. I don't have to convince people that I'm trustworthy. I don't have to convince them that I have their best interest at heart. They already know that coming into the office.
There's like somebody that just followed us on Instagram. I believe they're from McKinney, and we pulled up their page, and they have like 250,000 followers. They're awesome. Like a former Olympia bodybuilder, nice. And like they won first place and everything. Wow. And I'm like, man, that's so cool. Isn't because to me, that person feels like they've done so many amazing things in their life. The fact that at one point they were like one of the best looking people in the world, and they're here wanting to follow our page to see what we're about.
That's pretty cool.
That kind of motivates you to keep going, because you feel like, well, clearly they saw something interesting on our page that they want to follow and keep up with us. Yeah. So it's like just little things like that, seeing different types of people follow your page and comment or have something to say or give positive feedback is amazing. It kind of gives you motivation to keep going and keep coming up with creative ideas. Yeah. And social media is just awesome these days.
And then there's those group of people that want to tell you how terrible and horrible and what a loser you are. And
you just can't let those people get to you. Yeah. But isn't it funny that those are always the ones that
those are the ones that do. Yeah. They're on your mind way more than the positive.
You get 100 good comments, and that one negative one, it starts to bug you because you're like, why did they think that? And then now you're thinking so hard, like, well, could I have really done better? Like that one comment could bug you that bad.
And it's like a total waste of a day sometimes. It's a waste of energy to even like try to fix it or whatever. Yeah. And I've had days like that where I'm like, man, I totally just wasted this whole day thinking about that Google review. Yeah. Like, no one cares.
It's now, when it comes to veneers, is pricing pretty much the same throughout Texas at least, or is there some type of competition with others with pricing?
It's like anything. I mean,
like it's a business.
There are guys out there that charge a ton of money and their product is not even that great. There are people out there that charge not enough for what they're doing. I honestly feel like our practice is one of those. But I want to be busy. I want my doctors busy, and I want the patients to feel like they're getting good value. So veneers, I mean, they can vary anywhere from $1,000. I mean, there's even places in other countries that'll charge like $600. And every once in a while I do a special for like $600 just to get those people who have been waiting and can't afford anything else. Like, okay, well, you deserve it too. We'll do it for a limited time. And then there's people that charge $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a tooth. And
yeah, there's definitely both sides to it. Yeah. I feel like sometimes you'll see people out there maybe charging a little bit cheaper, and you wish you could tell every single customer, well, you have to know the quality that you're getting too. And sometimes those people don't really know, so they're just saying, well, their price is better than yours, I'm just gonna go with the best price. But what about
fix
the quality?
A lot of their work that comes through my door. There are dentists in other countries that charge like $600 a tooth, and it's like, wow, they're doing a really good job. It's because their cost is just lower. Like the cost of doing business is lower for them in their country. And so it's like, it's not a bad option. If you want to go to Turkey and get your teeth done, like I would go to that guy. But then what happens if something goes wrong, or what happens if something cracks? Are you going to fly back to Turkey and have it fixed? Or
that was part of the reason why your location just worked out perfectly for me. Is because I've had friends fly down to Miami and like different locations, like you mentioned Turkey, and that was the first thing that came to mind. It's like, well, what if a week later I have some pain or I need something checked up on? I don't want to have to think about flying back. You know, I want to be able to go down the street and get it fixed. And luckily it's worked out like that. It's like if I ever needed something checked up on, I would just, you're literally 15 minutes away from me. You guys are pretty cool about getting us in on time. The cleanings are awesome. With your giveaways, for the people out there that are listening, what do they have to do to enter the giveaway?
I try to make it really easy. I don't do like the bait and switch thing either, where you come in and you're like, oh, well, the veneers were free, but now you have to pay for this, this, and this. Like, I'm really straightforward with the way we do things. Usually all they have to do is follow us, follow the 2 doctors that work at our office too, and then tag 3 friends in the comments, and that's about it. I make it really easy, and then we just pick a winner randomly.
Which date for the month of October? Which day are y'all picking the winner?
So it's this Friday, the 14th, and I'll pick it. I usually do it kind of at the end of the day, so around 5 o'clock. We'll do it again in November and December. So,
man, that's awesome. So everybody out there pretty much has 12 opportunities a year to win, which is amazing.
I don't know anywhere else that's doing it.
And it's you said 8 teeth, right? 8 veneers.
It's usually 8. Sometimes I'll mix it up. We'll do 10, or like I said, we did a full mouth last month. So
how does that usually work with 8? Is it 4? Do people usually do like 4?
Usually just like the top 8
or the top 8.
And then some people, they're like, oh, I want my bottoms done too, and they'll pay for those, but they're at least getting like half off essentially. So it kind of works out nice that way.
Now for somebody that wins the 8 veneers, do they still need to pay for the work being done, or how does that work?
No, so they won't have to pay for the consult. They don't have to pay for like the models and the x-rays, and all of that's included. Like I said, I don't like going in for an oil change and then paying $600 because my transmission's bad, and is it really like type thing. So I try to make it really straightforward and no strings attached.
How has it been in the past with the winners coming in? Are they all just blown away? Are they excited?
Most of them are pretty excited. There's been a couple where I'm like, dude, this is free, and I'm really like trying here, and you're being really difficult. But most of them are super nice and grateful, and they're supportive. Like when I'm doing a live or something, they'll get on and be like, yeah, I won in January and it was an awesome experience. Like they're kind of cheering me on too, which is fun.
I feel like with you being like a business owner, your goal is, of course, like you're giving away a lot for free pretty much, and all you're asking is exchanges for a little bit of support.
And it kind of comes down to like, I'm not really doing it for selfish reasons. I'm doing it because I want to. I could stop, and I don't really think it would affect business a whole lot.
Right.
But like, that's kind of our culture. I want to be known for giving back.
But it's like, I'm sure it makes you feel better too when at the end that person maybe takes a picture, posts it, shows it off to their friends, because it's like you put in this hard work. You want them to share it and be supportive, and you want to see the feedback or the comments where everybody's showing appreciation and showing the love for the teeth. Where it's like, if somebody comes in and they win and they get the veneers and then they don't post anything, or you're almost like, did you really like them? Or it's like you wish that every single winner was just so energetic and happy and excited, and like that's what you go for.
And most of them are really grateful, and they post and do things for us and tell their friends, and it's almost always been a positive experience.
Have you ever had anybody try to like cash out, or where they're like, well, instead of the prize, can I get, cash or something?
No, I mean,
they know what they're getting.
Like, dude, I'm
not giving you cash.
Not giving you cash. Sorry. You're like, give it to your sister or something.
Is your staff allowed to participate in the giveaways as well?
No,
Or it's all
no, we won't let
makes
them.
sense.
Yeah, it's like if you want something, just come to me and we'll figure something out.
No, of course, it's your staff. You're always
Yeah.
gonna hook them up.
Yeah,
I don't want to hold you up too much longer.
this has been fun.
Yeah, thank you.
It's
We'll do
cool.
like a part 2 down
Yeah,
the road too. Maybe
be
when
cool.
you in March when you're getting ready to open
Yeah,
the second
that'd be
location.
awesome. I'd
And
love
what
to.
we can even do, we can actually come to that location.
Oh, that would be
So
cool.
we can film like at the new location.
That would be really cool.
And then we can do like a tour of inside and everything and put it together into like one nice episode. That
Yeah.
way we show
That
everything
would
to
be
the
so
audience
cool.
out there.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, thank you
I'll
so
make it
much
look-
for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having
I'm
me.
sure hopefully the audience will enjoy this episode. It was great talking to you.
You
Great
too.
getting to know all the behind the scenes and like some of the struggles that you
Yeah.
had to go through to be where you're at today. And we'll do it
Cool.
again soon.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Thank you. Talker fans, good night.
Thanks.
Thank you guys. Awesome.
That was cool.
That was awesome.
That was a lot of fun.